SPAAR has traditionally been an ally of fair housing in the Twin Cities and more broadly, but SPAAR is now, in light of the after effects of George Floyd's murder, has decided we need to take it up a step. We are really now committed to taking affirmative steps to deal with that history. The Diversity, Equity, and Inclusion, aka DEI, statement means that SPAAR has stepped forward and made a concrete written statement and commitment to the ideals that DEI stands for.
It is a new statement for SPAAR, but we've always been working on diversity and inclusion and adding in the equity piece to it. Over a 2-year period, we provided funds to the Rondo community to really acknowledge the destruction that happened around the Rondo community with regard to I-94 going through, and helping to rebuild a community base. If you look at Meals from the Heart, where we were providing an opportunity for our members to actually pack meals for people that are suffering from food insecurity.
SPAAR has traditionally been an ally of fair housing in the Twin Cities and more broadly, but SPAAR is now, in light of the after effects of George Floyd's murder, has decided we need to take it up a step. We are really now committed to taking affirmative steps to deal with that history.
The driving force of creating the statement has a lot to do with what we've experienced in the last 6 to 9 months with regard to the killing of George Floyd, the disturbances that happened in Minneapolis and around the country. And I think everybody should look at the historical perspective around housing and zoning and who could buy and who couldn't buy properties, not just in the Twin Cities, but around the country. You're going to find that there were a lot of policies made the past century that excluded a lot of people.
This is a legacy of decades and decades of discrimination, and realtors, sadly, unfortunately, were a part of the problem. Our call now is for realtors to be a part of the solution, to help eliminate the discrimination that has historically existed. We have partnered with the University of Minnesota's project called Mapping Prejudice, which documents specifically the housing discrimination patterns in the Twin Cities so that we can then take affirmative steps to overcome that historical discrimination.
If you look at what happened this past spring and summer, the State Association, SPAAR, and the Minneapolis area realtors banded together to form the Realtors Rebuilding Communities, and we did a fundraiser which raised over $250,000 to put back into the community around recovery, around rebuilding, around reconciliation with regard to equity.
So by reaching out to those and other groups, we are partnering to make sure that we are in fact arm in arm with our partners in eradicating discrimination. There are a number of ways that SPAAR members can become individually engaged, in addition to participation in formal committees such as the DEI committee. They can, for example, make a commitment to take some of the courses online, particularly, that SPAAR offers, dealing with strategies to implement fair housing. There is also the opportunity for SPAAR members to engage in activities like becoming volunteers with the Mapping Prejudice project.
We want our membership to reflect the community. And I think that this year we've done a lot of work toward making that happen and setting the stage for even more diversity within our industry and within our own association.